What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Dermy Wormy, and I'm coming at you with yet another instance of well, Japan doing their localization for the West. And this is actually coming from the same all around parent company that also did Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon, I don't remember its main company's name, but the parent company for that company is Sega. Sega is also the owner of the same company that is putting out Persona 3 Reloaded. Interesting how this all is coming from Sega and everything like that, and the same company that also did Like a Dragon in all their instances. Don't worry, I got a video on that coming out next. But Persona 3 Reloaded replaces trans character to avoid offense. Yeah, that's right, we're now having Japan basically do all the localization for them, for the West and everything like that, and actually is enforcing politics themselves so that we don't have to deal with it. So they don't have to deal with it. Again, this is more importing our own mental illness over to Japan, and Japan finally complying with their censorship. God, you just gotta love it. But let's read here. Persona 3 Reloaded has replaced a genderqueer character, possibly in order to avoid offending new players coming to the remake of the game. In the original 2006 game, there's a beach scene where, I'm gonna butcher these names, Junpei Lori, Akihiko Sanada, and the male protagonist strike out after trying to flirt at the beach. Luckily, the trio come across a woman who seems amicable to fooling around with the boys. However, Akihiko takes note that she has stubble and deduces that she is trans. It's unclear whether they're trans or a cross-dresser. Either way, the boys aren't interested in anymore, and they run off. Okay, funny little scene. Funny little moment. You got a bunch of straight guys finally find a girl that is interested in them and everything like that, and then they realize, oh my gosh, you're not a girl, you're a guy. No, funny little scene. It's a little joke scene. But hey, that's offensive now. That's offensive to the Western sensibilities. And that goes against everything Sega has actually been promoting over here. Remember, when we scroll down throughout this entire article, again, this is the same company that did Like a Dragon, whose parent company is Sega. On the same side, the same company that is doing Persona 3 Reloaded's parent company is Sega. So when you take this into account, you realize that this is a Sega issue, nothing else. But you come down here, one of the things they are taking out and being criticized for and actually removing are LGBTQ caricatures. I can read. Trust me, I'm just slightly stupid. Okay. So when you take into account that, oh my God, all these companies are connected to Sega, all these things are doing this, doesn't really shock you that Persona 3 Reloaded is taking out an LGBTQ caricature moment, a funny little moment, a little side moment, and completely changing it so that they don't harm modern sensibilities, guys. The scene has been criticized for transphobic stereotypes, especially since the character isn't forthcoming, and when identified, they persist and try to convince the boys to try something spicy with them. You can see Persona 3 portable version of the scene below, and here it is. It is what it is. But this is what they're changing it into, and actually I kind of have a bigger issue with this because I kind of see where they're going with all this. It's kind of stupid, and it kind of is trying to paint them in a very particular political light. Instead of making fun of a possible LGBT whatever character, a trans character, a queer character, whatever the heck you want to call it, they're making fun of a conspiracy theorist. That's right. Rather than recreate the scene or trying to update the original premise for modern audiences, Atlas sidestepped the issue entirely by changing the character's entire identity. Rather than a flirty beach babe, she's now a strange conspiracy theorist, eager to let the boys rub sunscreen on her body, but not without first explaining how the sun is actually a government conspiracy and it was replaced in 1980s. Wow. Wow. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, this is not a big deal. This is not a huge issue. It kind of is, because before it was just a laughable moment. Before it was all this, but then you take into account, again, parent company is Sega. Atlus's parent company is Sega. It's owned and run by Sega, the same company that owns and runs the company that was putting out Like a Dragon. And I don't believe Like a Dragon is actually being put out by Sega itself. Oh no, it is Sega. Yeah, okay, so you got all these things circling around Sega. Okay, they're not allowed to make fun of LGBTQAI up, down, left, right, A, B, start groups, or A, B, A, B, B, A, B, A, whatever. You get the joke. You get the Sega joke there. Okay, you're not allowed to do any cliches with them, any making fun of them, because it's transphobic and it's gonna hurt their sensibilities. It's gonna hurt the Western sensibilities. But the sensibilities it doesn't hurt are conspiracy theorists. And when you also take into account what a lot of vocalizers believe in a certain individual group, a political group here in America, here in the West, tend to just be conspiracy theorists. Okay, you're just conspiracy theorists. All the people that talk about the 8+ years of localization being botched by politics, all the people that think that localizers need to be replaced by AI, you're just conspiracy theorists. Okay, so when you take all this into account, you know who they're starting to paint this out to be. You know why they are doing this, because they know the other side isn't going to be criticizing them as much. They know they're not going to be coming after them as much. So now they can make jabs at them because, hey, it's the path of least resistance. But before you, and I do have to specify here, I don't like using Kotaku as an actual source. I despise using Kotaku at the actual source, because this is not an instance of American localizers doing anything. This is not an instance of Western localizers doing anything other than infecting Sega, infecting all those companies. No, because this is actually Japan that did this, because according to Kotaku, the Japanese audio also complies with these change, turning her into a conspiracy theorist, meaning the change was made during the development of the game by Japanese staff. So Japan is doing this, Sega is doing this, the parent company to all these different games now is retroactively vocalizing stuff over in Japan and then exporting it out, exporting it to all of us, changing stuff because of Western sensibilities. That is the biggest problem with all this. That is the biggest problem with the localization debate. That is the biggest problem with all these debates right now. We are now seeing Japan push more and more into the vocalization process, push more and more into actually just kowtowing to these social justice, nut job, identity politic freaks, instead of just putting out a good product, putting out something that actually resonates with their audience, knowing what their audience actually was from the very beginning, and actually continuing to be just Japanese. Instead, they're starting to be more woke, more left-leaning, more identity politic based, more kowtowing to these social justice weirdos and bending over backwards to them because we don't want to make them upset. We don't want to hurt their feelings. We want to keep pushing this stuff. We want to agree with them. We want to get our stuff out in the States. Screw it. Do what freaking Power World did. Power World was an independent company. Power World was an independent group. That is an indie game. Yes, it's in early access, but guess what? They put something out that was pretty much based, pretty much fun, pretty much awesome, and totally Japanese, and nobody gives a damn. Just do that. When you focus on being a good Japanese game, Western players will want to play your game. They want to interact with your game. They want to do stuff with your game. Because if they want a Western game, they're going to go play Western games. They want a Japanese game. They don't want their Western sensibilities put into a Japanese game. They want to stick with the Japanese game. They want to continue playing the Japanese game. And they want to interact with Japanese culture. Do that. That's all you have to do. But no. Mental illness has to get exported now. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it out, friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.